the cup and the league all to be won. Everyone knows there's a job to be done, and with a team so fine, I'm proud they're mine. We'll be singing this song. For real bars of Birmingham Athletic, and now we are on song. For real bars of Birmingham Athletic, and we'll go marching on.
The Dunfermline Athletic Former Players Association podcast is sponsored by Starnut Apparel. Affordable and stylish clothing born on the terraces. Listeners of this podcast can get 10% off their order by using code PODCAST at the checkout. Just head to www.starnutapparel.co.uk.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Dunfermline Athletic Former Players Association podcast, Walking Down the Holbeath Road, where we will reminisce about yesteryear and the players who've been lucky enough to wear the famous black and white stripes. I'm your host, Mikey Mukkiewicz, and on this episode, we speak to a legend of the Scottish game, with honours during his career which include the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, the Super Cup, twice winning the Scottish Premier League, and 3 times winner of the Scottish Cup. He would just have one season at his boyhood heroes, but during that season he would become a cult hero on the terraces of East End Park. In this podcast, we hear about his time at Aberdeen, playing under Sir Alex Ferguson, facing Real Madrid, and of course the 1989-90 season he spent at Dunfermline Athletic. So sit back, grab a bovril and enjoy this one with Big Doug Rougvie.
Thanks very much for joining us on the Dunfermline Athletic Former Players Association podcast. How are you getting on?
Yeah, we're doing good. Yeah. We're. I've just heard that we're getting the Gothenburg team's getting the keys of the city in May, on May the 13th or 14th. I think it's May the 12th. I think so. That's a big deal for us, you know. The club and the players that played in that Gothenburg team are getting the keys of the city. So that's a big thing. That's a right big thrill for us. So it's
perfect, mate. We'll touch on your Aberdeen career just in a wee bit, but starting off, you were born the 24th of May 1956 in Ballingray in Fife. So tell us a little bit about growing up in the village of Ballingray.
Well, obviously it's Ballingray is sort of it's filled with miners supplying the Mary Pit and the Glen Lahore pits and whatnot, you know. So it was quite a big community, you know. They had the Protestant school, had the Catholic school, and obviously Rangers and Celtic are big, very prominent there, you know. And there wasn't a few of the lads supporting Dunfermline, you know. And that was just the way things were, wasn't it? Really, you know. So so we went to Benetti Junior School and then Ballingray Junior High after that. So yeah.
Brilliant, mate. And you mentioned being a Dunfermline supporter. I've been doing the research, and apparently your hero was Roy Barry growing up. So tell us a little bit your early memories of football and especially supporting Dunfermline.
He was a big player for Dunfermline. I ended up moving down to Coventry, you know, and it's unfortunate that the Scottish clubs do supply the bigger clubs with players, isn't it? Really, it's disappointing, but that's just the economics, isn't it? You know, Roy Barry was a fantastic player. You know, he ended up going to Coventry and had a good career doing the Coventry as well. So he did, yeah. So I watched. I remember watching Fergie as well. Barry Mitchell, 1972. Being that sort of with Dunfermline United, you know, with passes to get into the wee box right as the players come out. There was a section there where all the sort of people who were connected to the club stood and watched them, you know. So yeah, and as I say, I can't really remember a lot about the games. Oh, of course, because it was so long ago. But individual players I can remember, you know, like Alec Edwards, and he was a fantastic player, you know. And who else? There were some really good players Dunfermline at that time. No, although in '72 when I eventually joined Aberdeen, Dunfermline went into the old second division, for a lot of lads. So it was, for the boys that were maybe going into the reserves from Dundee and Dunfermline United.
You mentioned Dunfermline United there. Who were some of the boys that played for your team at Dunfermline United that ended up forging a career in the game?
Alan Evans, remember Alan Evans? Centre half. We went into Aston Villa, ended up winning the big cup medal. I think he played first team with them. I'm not sure if Wally Tempney with them and maybe part time or full time with the club. But that team I played in was a lot of boys who progressed it through the ranks into Dunfermline, and other teams, some went to the Hibs, some went to the Hearts as well, and a few of the boys joined Dunfermline Athletic.
Am I right in saying you guys won the Fife Cup, the Fife League, and the Scottish Cup?
Yeah, we did. That was a fantastic year. I think I never realised that we were never beaten that year. Never were beaten, and it was some record. I think we only drew once. The only game that we never won, we drew it. So it was a fantastic. So the league, the Fife Cup, and the Scottish Cup. It really was a good side. So it was.
Brilliant. And you kind of mentioned it earlier, but when you get to 16 years old, you're released by Dunfermline. How did that feel at the time?
Yeah, well, obviously I was the one that wanted me, and by luck, Andy Young, who was for Lochgelly, he was doing a lot of scouting, and it was him. I think it was really him. He ended up scouting for Leeds. He was doing a job for Leeds. He was trying to get me to do it at Leeds, but I think they had enough sweaty socks, as they call us, doing the Leeds team, so they weren't wanting. So, but Andy had a friend, obviously knew Jimmy Bonthron. Jim Bonthron was the manager at Aberdeen Football Club. So I went up to Aberdeen for a week's trial. So I went up for a week and lasted 12 years. So did no bad.
Brilliant. What's your memories of going up there on trial? Being a wee boy for Ballingray and
I was just a week. I made it into holiday. See, you can't ask for better than that in a different city, and you're getting your big spade fee. You're getting some cash. You're getting a per diem in your pocket to go and buy presents for your family. So it was really good. I treated it as a holiday. And I wasn't even thinking that I'd be going. Sort of signing for Aberdeen Football Club.
Yeah, amazing.
Because I already had a job. I'd come away I was wanting to go to Beath High, but my mother couldn't afford to keep me at Beath High, so I ended up having a technician's apprentice job in Rosyth Dockyard. So I always had that to go back to, So I just went up and sort of thought, just enjoyed myself,
In 1972, you joined Aberdeen on the ground staff. What did being on the ground staff involve back in those days?
The ground staff entailed looking after the boots, looking after the dressing rooms, basically doing jobs about the park as well. We were working in the park plus training, plus doing over chores in the afternoon, washing the strips and drying, getting everything dried, and then getting all the kit out for the first team and whatnot. So that was all that, looking after the first team's boots and just keeping the place really tidy. Sweeping up the dressing rooms and all that, just the usual stuff. And then I was farmed out to a local junior side called Rosemount, which was good as well. I enjoyed that.
Brilliant. Do you think youngsters in football nowadays that's missing from the game, being on the ground staff and doing those chores and making them realise you've got to work hard to make it in the game?
I think a lot of the youngsters are a wee bit intimidated with the workload that is put on. I don't think they realise the workload that a footballer actually does. Because I know for a fact that that going home for in the afternoon for a sleep was that's what we done, you know, because we're working our socks off during that, maybe that 2 years plus the training in the afternoon, and then at night you're glad to get to your bed. You know, I think a lot of youngsters are put off with the workload that the football players actually put in, plus the commitment that you have to put into it. You know, when we see you're sort of stopping yourself from loving just to play football. So
Yeah,
that's how I see it anyway.
and then fast forward 2 years later, you spend your 18th birthday in Australia. Am I right in saying? With the first
That's right. We went on a world tour. Jimmy Blunthrun took us on a world tour, and there was a big squad with us. Really, it was a big squad. There must have been 18, 19 players there. I was there to gain experience and carry the kit bags, you know. But the boys will not like me saying this, but because the boys have obviously not been away from home for a while, and it was like sweeties it was kids in a sweetie shop, so it was Jimmy Bondrum, maybe it was as strict as it should have been, you know. If it had been Fergie, it would never have happened. But the boys basically weren't fit to play, so I played most of the games because I was the drinking.
You're the only sober player.
I'm the sober player there, right? So most of the games I had my 18th birthday in Newcastle and on the Gold Coast, which was fantastic.
It's a real experience. After Jimmy was there, you worked under Ali McLeod and Billy McNeil, two top managers.
Yeah.
What's your memories of working under they two?
Well, Ali was a nightmare, was it? He didn't. It was a motivator. Didn't get nothing about football. But he could motivate boys to play. You know, he could look at a player and say he's a good player. He was fitting that team there, but he never had any tactics or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He never could see any tactics. It was up to the boys to organise themselves, you know. But luckily. Having seen that, he did to get the boys up to a stage where they saved us for relegation when the year he joined us, when Jimmy Blunthrun resigned. He did save us for relegation, and he did win the League Cup against the Celtic 2-1 in extra time. But on the strength of that, he got the Scottish job because he was he was definitely a character, you know. He was But Billy McNeil totally different. Billy was different class. He's made us into the second best team in Scotland. The Rangers were winning everything. I think Rangers won the treble that year. But he was second to everything, second in the league, second in the Scottish Cups. I can't remember about the League Cup, but we were runners up, and then with John Gregg joining Rangers, Big Billy went down and joined the Celtic. So they're matching that sort of that. The ex players sort of matching them for John Gregg to go to Rangers, and then Billy went for Celtic took Billy to Celtic again, and then Fergie came in, you know.
Aye,
I haven't seen that track, and they brought in Stevie Archibald, you know. They were really good players, you know. Scanlon and a few boys, and then they got rid of the boys that McLeod came in, you know. But McLeod had came in. But I haven't seen that McLeod brought some good players in as well, you know. Stuart Kennedy,
he really started to build that.
One of the main ones that Alan McLeod brought in.
So Billy McNeil goes down to Celtic, Doug, and then in 1978,
Billy, aye.
1978, the man you've watched at East End Park as a laddie, Alex Ferguson comes in. So what was it Alex done straight away to kind of turn the mentality and get Aberdeen on the...
No, he upset everybody. He thought St Mirren side was fantastic, you know. We used to go down to St Mirren and give them a doing, you know. But that never registered with him, and they thought he kept on comparing us all the boys that play with St Mirren, and we were like, this, what is he on? what he's been drinking, you know. But anyway, it was a wee bit. I had a hard initiation with us, so he did, because he was just a young manager, was he? And probably some of the boys who were even I played against him. I played one of my first reserve games against him, you know. And we'd all played against him and all encountered him, you know. So we were thinking, oh, what have we got here? Plus, he left St Mirren. He never left St Mirren on good terms. They sacked him because he was dipping his hand into the cash, was he? He got caught stealing money, you know.
Right.
And we say that's pretty brutal, but that's why he got sacked for, I think, you know. And so we were thinking, what we got here? And we were going to Glasgow, and he'd be on the bus and be getting off of the bus in the city centre and going to see his lawyer about this case that he's got with St Mirren. You know, he'd obviously had a case against him, but I think it was a unlawful dismissal or something like that. You know, but I don't think whatever happened. I think it eventually got thrown out, and then he settled down. But what we did realise is that he's a motivator, and he could get people to play for him, and he tactically he was different class. Really was, yeah. So we brought us round that way, you know. So it did.
What was your relationship like with Ferguson?
I think he's unless you were a very important player to him, it was very, very topsy-turvy, his relationships with players, you know. He either loved you or he hated you, you know. And there wasn't in between, so there wasn't, you know. So, like I said, the McClishes and Millers and Maitons and that, he wouldn't ever disparage them, but anybody else was up for a fair game, you know. But that's just the way he managed, you know. Obviously, him getting the big job and Man United, Aberdeen was just a stepping stone for him, and it was a good grounding for him. With the way he managed players and that, you know. But yeah, he was. But him saying that, he was a great manager, was he? 26 years Man United, you can't say, but great. But plus, he gave me a bag of medals that was probably never have got playing anywhere else, you know.
Yeah, so, talking about medals.
For me, it was a fantastic manager. Yeah,
he was talking about medals. 1980, you win the league. 82, you win the Scottish Cup, and then the big one in 83, which you mentioned at the intro. The anniversary's coming up, so the Cup Winners' Cup final against Real Madrid. What's your memories of that run, and then obviously the final at Gothenburg?
Oh, the run was out as well. You know, we had Seal in the first one, which we beat them, I think it was 7-0 at home, and beat them maybe 5-2 away from him over in Switzerland. And there's an Albanian side that we played, and we just beat them 1-0. And we went out there about Albania, and we were hanging over our fingernails, really, and we managed to keep them out. And they were really, it was really aggressive, and was for the faint-hearted, that game, because the crowd was right up on it, and they were those absolute pelters. But we ended up beating them 1-0, and then we picked up. I can't remember who else we did picked up. Then obviously the quarter-final, semi-final, and final. I remember. Oh, I had no problem, you know. But it was a fantastic run, and beating the Germans beating Bayern Munich gave us a lot of confidence, because it's the first time we ever beat a German side. You know what I mean? In Europe, and that gave us a lot of confidence. And the way the game went, it was just fantastic script, you know. So it was. And the semi-final was Watershine from Belgium, and then the big one. But the leading up to the Cup Winners' Cup final was unbelievable. The whole town was just. It was great. It was fantastic.
It's magical, eh?
It was magical. Bring back great memories, because everybody was talking about it. You know, everybody was talking about the cup final. So.
And you mentioned some of the players earlier: Willie Miller, McLeish, Leighton, Strachan, Archibald. What a squad Aberdeen had back then. What was it like to play?
Archie was there at the time. The club sold him in 1980, just after winning the first championships. They went down to Spurs. Went down to Spurs, aye. But it was up front with Garth Crooks. He did really well down there. They went to Barcelona. He had a wealth of players. He brought in Peter Weir, which was a fantastic signing for us. Ian Scanlon went down to St Mirren, and Peter Weir came up here. So we'd been with Strack and Wide with Peter Weir on who they could both of them could make goals and could score as well. With Simpson and Cooper in midfield, which was the sort of the engine room for the and with strikers it was scored for fun. McGee, Black, Hewitt, boys that could score at any time. Even if we were playing badly, we knew that we were going to win because the boys that could just pop up and score for us. And plus with the sort of defensive line we had with Leighton in goals and McLeish and Miller, we never didn't lose a lot of goals,
Mm-hmm.
So it was a wee recipe there to go and win games, So
during that time winning the Cup Winners' Cup, just want to touch a little bit on your international career. So you managed to earn one cap for Scotland in December 1983. What's your memories of the game against Northern Ireland to begin with?
One of my proudest moments putting in that blue shirt with Scotland, and it was fantastic. That night, I remember it was. We knew that Steen was watching the players, but there was a lot of players who were playing for Scotland at the time. It was Leighton, McLeish, Miller, Strack and Weir, McGee.
Mm-hmm.
with a heap playing in that team at the time. So I never realised he was looking at me. So I never had a particularly good game that day. We were playing Dundee, and Dundee were the boy who was playing wide right. He was a really good player. He was a good McDood. So it was, and they ended up in the squad. So so it was a surprise, but one of my proudest moments. So it was. So I think there was 7 players playing in on the bench that night for Aberdeen, and I don't think the West of Scotland press enjoyed that. So we ended up getting beat 2-0, but I think I did really well that night. It was a fantastic evening. But Windsor Park was in the construction. There was one main part of the park there was nobody there, and it was a horrible night. It was pissing the rain. It was windy, and it wasn't a night for for playing football, but I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I never went back. So unfortunately, I never got picked again. So, but
I was going to mention that.
I could say that I've played for Scotland. So
exactly. Is it disappointing?
One of my proudest moments, I must admit.
Aye, brilliant, mate. Is it disappointing not to have earned more caps?
Just one of these things, just one of these things.
Was it frustrating at the time?
Obviously. No, not really. Because I felt as always. I always felt that I was always a journeyman, lucky enough to play in a good team, and I played in a lot of good teams right now, and so I was delighted with World Cup. Disappointed, but obviously you think, I would have been I'd go at that, definitely, but it was not to be. So
no. Cool. So moving on for that, your time at Aberdeen, what you managed to achieve. So the Cup Winners' Cup, a Super Cup, 2 Premier Divisions, 3 Scottish Cups, and of course the Aberdeenshire Cup. We can't forget that one. So you made 270 appearances for Aberdeen. Is there any games or moments that we've not discussed that really stand out for you?
Well, there's obviously you always remember the game that he scored. He scored in, didn't you? I scored twice against St Mirren in the midweek game, and then I scored twice against Dundee United the year they won the championship in '83, and that was special times for me as well. Obviously, the games you look back on the game and get in the quarter final against Bayern Munich, that was a fantastic night for Pittodrie. So we were. Real plus, the Aberdeen fans are not known for being their over enthusiastic or noisy or boisterous, you know. But that night they were fantastic, you know. So yeah, that was a great night. And then the semi-final against Watershy, you know, they beat them 5-1 at home. That was a great night as well, you know. So it was
Brilliant.
some
And
great
then
nights at them.
fast forward a little bit, in 2019 you were inducted into the Dons Hall of Fame. That must be a massive honour for you.
Yeah, I think I think it's that was a right surprise, you know. And I thought it was only obviously playing in the Gothenburg team, and playing the likes of rubbing shoulders with all these great players, you know. It was and to get into the Hall of Fame, well, yeah. It was really was fantastic. Yeah, it's an honour that you just it doesn't come along, you know. It's coming along in a lifetime, you know. So yeah, I was
Great.
I'm really pleased with myself. Yeah.
Brilliant, mate. And then 1984, you're leaving Aberdeen, and from what I've read, you didn't want to leave. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, but then Fergie comes into it again. You know, Fergie comes into it again. Fergie, when 1980, I'm 24, right? I'm just no long married, and Fergie is wanting me on a 4-year contract. He's come to me and says, "I can't get a big wage. We've not got a lot of money." It was a liar as well. We've not got a lot of money in the for signing on fee, but I'll give you a wee sign-on fee. I'll give you a wee increase in your wages, but you're due a testimonial within the next 2 years. We'll get a testimonial for you. So I'm like this. Yeah, excellent. Because I know for a fact that I would fall Patoja, you know, 24,000 easy. So saying, yeah, I'll buy into that, right? So about the time I was due my coming up for getting a committee together and everything else, he comes out to me and says, "You're getting no fucking testimonial." So I'm like, fair enough. There you go. Okay, so we'll go on and zoom forward to 84. He's going to be in holiday with all his pals. He liked to go on holiday with all his rich mates. So we wrote down what we were wanting. So I've went for it. My big raise my wages. I want a decent sign-on fee, right? So he's away. I'm out of contract, so I'm doing talk to Chelsea, which I'm within my rights because of the Bosman thing, right? I can go doing if I'm not on contract, I can go and speak to people. So I'm doing speaking to Chelsea, right? And he wasn't pleased to say the least. So he's dragged me into the office the first day of training, back to pre-season training, right? Dragged me in the office, and it was the say, "Big man, can I have a word with you?" He comes in and says, "You fucking my office right away." You know, that's how he spoke to you.
Yeah.
I'm a senior player, I'm 28, and he's telling me to get into his fucking office. You know, I'm like, oh, here we go. So I goes in, and he says, "What are you doing? Going to Chelsea?" And speak to him. He says, "Well, I'm not on contract. And what's this? You've given me a well, you asked us to write out what we're wanting before we're signing a new contract." And he says, "You'll be getting in that. You're holding the club to ransom." And it was cursing and swearing at me. And then I walked out there, did my training, and then I went back. So it was sad. It was sad. I was sad the way he left the club. You know, I've been there 12 years as a boy and man, and basically kicked me out the door. You know. And then they slaughtered me in the papers as well, which was a bit naughty. But there you are. That's just the way he is. You just couldn't leave it alone. You know, he was always wanted to have the last word. But he's still a fantastic manager. You know what I mean?
Aye. Yeah, you can't change
But I think I was 6 years underneath him. I had enough. of him. You know, basically.
And you go.
I wasn't wanting to go down there, but the thing was, going down to Chelsea, I've always wanted to go and play in the big clubs, you know, go to Old Trafford and Main Road and you know, so I did that. That was good.
Aye, so you signed for Chelsea in 1984 for 150,000, and you make your debut against Arsenal on the opening day of the season. What was it like going down to play in England? Was it a big change from playing in Scotland?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I was 12 years at Aberdeen Football Club, you know, And you're always, 12 years, you're always going to make comparisons, you know. Chelsea weren't half the team that Aberdeen were, you know, but they were probably superstars. They thought they were superstars, honestly. But then, yeah. You always, but I got what I was wanting, you know. I was wanting to play in England and playing in big clubs. So I got what I was wanting. I had 5 years doing there. I really enjoyed myself, but the wife struggled. Big time, you know. But I was out playing football with Chelsea, and she was sort of early who's watching the Bairns, you know. So it was uneven, you know. I could see that. Now, but at that time I was having a great time. So it was.
Brilliant, mate. And you played 100 games for Chelsea. What players were at Chelsea during your time there?
The goalkeeper, Eddie Nesvitsky, Welsh goalkeeper. Colin Pates, Joe McLaughlin, kick the ball the way you're facing McLaughlin. Wee Pat Nevin was there. Eventually, Gordon Jury came down, and then Kevin McAllister. A youngster, John Miller, he ended up leaving Chelsea and playing with the Hearts. Right fullback, I think it was. And there was a lot of good players. So there was Kerry Dixon played. He used to score for fun. Kerry, you know, quick, and he could score goals. Who else? We Speedy, Davy Speedy.
Yeah,
you
Scottish boy. Yeah.
Aye, well, English lad, but he played for Scotland. Yeah.
Pat Nevin there as well.
Wee Pat was there. Aye, Wee Pat was there at the time. Aye, Wee Pat, John Bumstead. A lot of good players, but they weren't half the side Aberdeen were, you know. But there you pay your money to take a chance, you know.
That's it. And you leave Chelsea between 87 and 89. You have spells at Shrewsbury, Brighton, and Fulham. Any memories of your time at those three clubs, Doug?
Yeah, well, we got promotion with Brighton. So I was the captain at Brighton, and I got promotion. So unfortunately, I fell out with the manager. It was very, very temperamental, obviously. And then I moved to Shrewsbury with Ian McNeil, who was up there. But I never lasted long at Shrewsbury. It was quite fraught, Shrewsbury, you know. Mm-hmm. So it was. But then I moved back down to Brighton, and then started playing with Fulham. Fulham was fantastic. I loved Fulham. I was captain at Fulham there as well. That was a fantastic club under the manager was Ray Lunton. Remember, he was assistant manager to the English manager. Yeah, maybe a few years ago, and he was different class. He was really good. I liked him, and then came up and joined Dunfermline. Yeah.
Aye, so on the 18th of July 1989. For £25,000, it's announced in the papers, and the headline is "I've come home. Rougvie's back." So you joined Dunfermline. How did the move come about to join your boyhood club?
Well, I was really about I said Real Lunton assistant. My wife. I'm not really enjoying England. I wasn't really enjoying England, but the wife was struggling. So I says I'll have to come back up the road. So I moved that up the road, and then I was available for signing. So Big Luce came in for us, yeah.
The one thing though, that kind of time at Dunfermline, it was a really exciting time, wasn't it? You signed along with.
Yeah, well, it just been promotion. It just got promoted, didn't they? And we're going into the Premiership and survival was a big thing for them, you know, mm-hmm. And that's what I ended up actually surviving that year. So that was really good. Yeah. So it was. Yeah. It was a wee bit. There was a managerial changeover. Then Leach stepped up to the directorship, and Ian Munro came in. Ian Munro, you know him? Remember him? Ian Munro.
I do. I was going to touch on that now. But going back to the day you signed along beside Stuart Rafferty, Jimmy Nicholl, and George O'Boyle.
Aye.
Three fantastic players. What was your memories of these guys when you joined the club?
Oh well, Jimmy Nick was different class, wasn't he? He was the old sort of played at every level imaginable, you know. a great professional. You know, we George Bill just coming into the club and making a name for himself. And the Rafferty, he was a fantastic player, was he? The Raff, he was just was the Raff come from Motherwell, did he, or something like that?
I think it was Dundee or Motherwell. Yeah,
Was it Dundee? Aye. He was a fantastic player. Really good player. Aye, so it was good. It was good strength in the pool. A good strength in the pool.
a good
the players you mentioned.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you remember much about this, but on the 12th of August 1989, your debut is against Dundee at a packed East End Park. It's a 2-1 win. Do you remember much about your debut at East End?
Yeah, it was yeah. So but the game was a beautiful day, and we ended up going 2-1. That was an important start for us, wasn't it? It really was, and yeah.
Was it a bit of a strange feeling for you, being obviously a Dunfermline supporter as a boy, and here's you all these years later playing at a packed East End and in the sunshine?
Yeah, it was well. I think I've played at East End before when we won the Scottish Cup. The semi-final and the final was played at East End. And training. I think I was training Monday and Thursday night for the 3 years when I was 13 and 16, and we were running around the park. So I knew the park. You know, I knew the park like the back of my hand. So I did. Yeah. So it wasn't really that strange, you know.
And that season, like I said, there's such a good squad, and there's a real buzz about the place. The average home gate that season was 10,978. So did that have a real rub off on the players? Just the whole
yeah. I think because the East End Park's quite compact and or the supporters run top of you, you know, so it was quite intimidating for other teams to come and play, you know. So yeah, it was. I just remember Isfan Cosmo.
Yeah, he came in that season.
He came in and played. He was a fantastic player. So he was good. He joined maybe just after the start of the season, didn't he?
Yeah,
Isfan. He was a real good player.
I'll touch on a game with Isfan in just a second, but your first goal. The newspaper headlines was Rougvie rocks the Rovers. So you got your first goal for Dunfermline against Wraith Rovers in the League Cup. Do you remember that one?
I can't know. Was it a header?
A header, yeah, and a 3-1 win in August 89. And then you scored just after that again against Hibs on the 29th of August.
Hibs, that was it. That was League Cup. Near post corner. That was a fantastic game. That game. We were up 1-0 and they were pounding us, and they equalised. They went into extra time, and then we just snatched it at death. No, that was a good game. Going to Easter Road and getting a result, you know, on that park, that slope park, it was a good. It was a good game. So
you spoke about Isfan Cosma. So there was a game I'm keen to ask what your memories are of. On the 14th of October '89, we beat St Mirren 5-1, and Cosma scores an unbelievable
hat trick.
Aye, what's your memories of that day?
Yeah, you're leading up to the incident with Wee Monroe, yeah.
I've heard a few stories, mate.
yeah. Wee Monroe. I think we were 1-0 up, and that gave away a free kick on the right hand side. I think how it was on the right hand side, I'm no idea. But I gave away a free kick and scored directly for the free kick. And me and Monroe tried to blame me for the goal, you know. So at half time we came in, I think it was 2-1 at half time, I can't remember. Or either 1 each or 2-1, I can't remember. And so we Monroe was blaming me for this giving me this free kick. And of course I was sitting there, it wasn't I don't think it was my fault. So I've lunged for him, you know. But I've chased him in the plinth. I couldn't get a hold of him, could I? Couldn't get a hold of him. So I couldn't. He was like, he's touching me like this. I've chased him, and all the boys had got me and took me away. So, thankful for it. Whoever the boys came, trapping battery. So it would have been. But
and then Cosma scores a hat trick. What's your memories of that?
Second half, aye. King comes out the second half, and we give him a doing, aye. So obviously, the boys were buzzing there to me trying to give me Monroe a dude.
Talking about Ian Monroe, That was a really funny season with the kind of co-management of Jim Leishman and Ian Munro. How was that working for you guys as players?
Well, for me, I hated me Monroe's guts because he was a sneaky little shit. Excuse my French. That's the only way I could describe him. But and then I got released after that. But me Monroe got rid of me because he was wanting me there because I think it was very intimidated with me, and rightly so because I wouldn't give him the time of day. But there you go. That's me. That's my opinions on him.
It was quite, from speaking to the other players, it was quite difficult for players who to go to, and it was just a bit of a messy situation behind the scenes. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was messy at them. He stabbed Big Leishman in the back, so he did, and he got the manager's job. And Leishman got sent upstairs, and he wasn't having anything to do with it, picking the team and everything, which was wrong because he was the manager. B. Monroe stabbed him in the back, thinking he took over, how he got allowed to take over, but that's what happened. Him and Phil Bonneman, his assistant.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah,
Aye, he took over, and I think he couldn't manage it. It was just intolerable for him, which I couldn't understand. But a wee naff like that, stabbing him in the back, you would think you wouldn't. And then after, did he leave after that? I can't remember, but that's what happened anyway. Wee Monroe stabbed him in the back.
We are Flow Digital Pharmacy, and we are proud to sponsor the Walking Down the Holbeath Road podcast. Our easy-to-use app is a convenient way to access your NHS prescription medication, and our team of trained pharmacists are helping thousands of people to access the support and medication they need. If you're registered with a GP who's based in England, you can use the Flow app to securely and conveniently send them NHS medication requests and arrange delivery to a location of your choice at a time that suits you. This means you can avoid the hassle of contacting your GP and making unnecessary round trips to eventually collect your prescription. Find out more at weareflow, spelled PHLO, that's weareflow.com.
Yeah, and going back, rewind a wee bit, that season, in November 1989, we draw 1-1 at Fir Park against Motherwell and we go top of the league. What's your memories of that?
Not the league, we were at Motherwell, and it's always hard to go to Motherwell and get a result, you know. And we're doing nicely. The boy centre half, who was Big Norrie.
Yeah, McCarthy, Norrie McCarthy.
Norrie McCarthy, aye. He was a block, it was a long kick, and he tried to head it back, and he missed his measure, and he was sitting forward, went on and scored. You know, so 1-0 down, and we're thinking, fuck. You know, because we were capable of getting them a doing, you know, but with them getting a goal, the confidence came right back into it again. But we kept it 1-0. They kept us. I think we were doing really well. We were pressing them, kept us 1-0 at half time. They came in the second half, and then we scored late in the second half. I think I made that goal because I was up to the left and I got a crossing and somebody scored. I can't remember who scored.
Ross Jacks got the goal.
It was Ross Jacks scored the header, was it?
Aye.
A header. I think it was Accreston and headed it in. And that was a fantastic moment for us because we were top of the league. We got a bit of draw. We ended up getting a draw at Motherwell, which is hard for us to go and get a result. And so we were quite pleased with ourselves a bit.
Was there a belief after that, Doug, that obviously the aim for that season was survival, but sitting top of the league in November, was there a belief after that we could really achieve something that season?
We were a good side, but we were middle in the table, you know, and to be top of the league was fantastic, really, you know, being top of the league at that time, and it was just shows you that funny things happen in football, you know. But we were always going to be a middle of the table team, you know, probably fighting for survival every year, you know. But it was a good squad. It was really enjoyable times, you know. Good bunch of lads. When you talk about all the lads, and that we really had quite a lot of good players in that team, you know. We really did.
Who were you close to in that team, Doug? Who was your good mates at that point?
I'm not really that sociable. That's also, I'm not really that sociable with
So you weren't going out to Lorenzo's on a Saturday night, no?
I was kept myself to myself, really did. And I think that's just what I've always done, what I've always done. But because the boys were comfy all over the place, it's not like Aberdeen that we can maybe go out for a meal or a drink with the wives or the players, because everybody's widespread, wasn't it? The boys come from Dundee. What was it? Dundonians boys were a couple of boys for Dundee, and there was they were comfy, were plus, weren't they? They were all over. So there weren't really there wasn't a lot of boys actually staying in Dunfermline or quite near Dunfermline, So it was hard to socialise with players, because once you played the game, you went home to your loved ones, weren't you? So
yeah. Well, that season the club finished 8th in the Premier League, but only 5 points off 4th. And then you played your last game against Hearts on the 14th of April 1990. You kind of touched on it earlier, but I take it you didn't want to leave the club after just one season.
No, I think obviously it was me, Monroe, got rid of me because he wasn't wanting me there. I can understand why, But but I think it was the contract that I signed. It was a year and then a provisional for a year, and they could take up on the re, and they never took it up. So I ended up being a free agent, So.
Well, you played 36 games for the Pars. Is there any games that season that really stand out for you?
Well, the semi-final against the Rangers, that was a special day. Going to Hampden Park and playing for the Pars against the Rangers. Although we got to do in that night, but that was really enjoyable. It just shows that a club after look at Inverness Cali Thistle this year. You know what I mean. Clubs and doing well in cups. That's the beauty of the cup games, isn't it? It's the romance of the cup, is it? So that was good. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
In July 1990, you get released, and you head up north to Montrose in a kind of player coaching role. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was basically player manager, be truthful, but that was good. That was good. With restricted money, the players weren't the best players I had, but we managed to get promotion that year.
In your first season, you won the second division. So, what's your memories of winning?
Really, for the players that we had. Yeah, that was really good. We really had a slow start, because I think the boys didn't really believe in what I was trying to put over, And I was trying to encourage them to play, play football, set things up, and in the proper fashion, get the ball and get the ball in, and play some football. They were used to just getting the ball and taking the leather off it. But eventually we got to a stage where we were playing a lot of good stuff. We were playing a lot of good stuff, and we were making lots of chances, and we were scoring goals. We're scoring goals at home and away from him, which was really encouraging. And then we went on a run for the last win every game. I think the team that won the league that year beat us at Montrose, and that was the only sort of hiccup we had. And the rest of the teams we all beat. But anyway, so but we got promotion to the first, but unfortunately, because we had the money, we were playing again. We were in the first division. We were playing good stuff, but we couldn't score a goal. When they needed to get a striker, need to get a striker. I was trying to bring Stevie Cowan. Remember Stevie Cowan?
Yeah,
ex-Aberdeen, ex-Hibs.
Yeah,
ex-Aberdeen, ex-Hibs. Stevie Cowan was right. I was trying to bring him in, but the wee chairman wasn't buying it for whatever reason. Stevie's fitness wasn't great, and I wasn't worried about his fitness. I wasn't wanting to be I was wanting him to stick the ball in the net, and he could score. He could score, you know. That's what we wanted. Unfortunately, we never got there. We never managed to secure him, and we ended up, we couldn't score goals. We were getting the odd win, and maybe in 5. And we were bottom of the league, I think, second bottom, third bottom. And then at Christmas, I got sacked, you know. But there you go. Shit happens, eh?
One player I wanted to ask you about who ended up coming to Dunfermline a few years later and become a bit an icon was Ivo Dembele. What's your memories of Big Ivo?
Oh, he was a good player. I took him in under my wing, and he was a real good player. So it was, he did well. He did well for us. He did well for Dundee. I think he did well for Dunfermline as well, didn't he?
He did, mate.
Yeah, he played well. He did. How many seasons was he with Pars?
Ivo was with us for I think about 5 years.
Aye, he did for that year. He was a good player. So he was strong. He was quick. He was good, and he had good touch. And he had a good sense about the game. Is he Dutch?
He was Dutch, yeah. He's Dutch, yeah. He's back in Holland at the moment.
When he was playing with the Gable Enders, he was doing his university up here, you know. And he did really well for us. So he did.
Brilliant. So after your time at Montrose, you joined Huntly, and you have a really successful time there, winning the Highland League, the Highland League Cup, and the Aberdeenshire Cup. And you finished playing in 1996 after 24 years. What's your memories of your time at Huntly?
I think it was fantastic. I think I was there for no 7 full seasons, but 7 seasons, you know. And it was fantastic, you know. It was that's old age this year. And the manager was the ex-manager of Aberdeen.
Stevie Patterson.
Stevie Patterson, what I'm talking about, can't remember his name. Stevie Patterson put together a really good side, you know, and with Big Gary White, Stevie Lennox, with a lot of good players there. Johnny Gardner was in goals, and boy, should maybe again. It was a really good side. We had ended up. I think when the first year I was there, we won the League Cup, or qualifying cup, 1 and 2, and then after that we found our side, and we won 5 league championships in the trot, which has never been done before. And Stevie went up, and I was there 2 championships, maybe 2 or 3, 2 championships, and then he went up to manage Inverness, Callie Thistle, and then I took over player manager 1, 2, and then when we were going on to win my 5th, I got sacked again, and RV chairman that I never had much to, I haven't got much respect for, but initially with Fob Shands was chairman, best chairman I ever had, you know. But another boy came in for Huntly, for Elgin. He thought he was the manager. He thought he was the manager, so he was trying to tell me what I should do and what I shouldn't do, and I just told him I'm not buying that, so he sacked me. So
was management something you wanted to do after playing Doug? Was that something
management? No, not particularly. No, particularly. But management really rewarding when you can get the boys to partake in your the way you want to play, you know. But it can be a wee bit spoon feeding, you know, especially if the younger players are if they're no switched on, that, you know, you're spoon feeding them, and it gets a wee bit frustrating. But apart from that, yeah. But I did my bit up in the Highland League, you know. Brought in a lot of good players, and actually, the Highland League was really good. It was really good social, you know. Most of the boys were from Aberdeen. They're all Toonsers, and we used to travel up during the week for training, and then travel up. Every game was a away game, so we used to take the supporters up in the team bus with us. So it was quite social. Really was a good social. It was a good bus because we were always winning, so it was good.
Brilliant. You then had a season at Cove Rangers before retiring from football. So what did Doug Rougvie do after football? What have you been up to?
Well, the thing is with the Cove game, with the Cove thing, I had to go back and go to. I was doing an instrument designer's job in the oil and gas, right? And to go contract, I was staff with Wood Group, and to go contract, I needed that match in electrical engineering, so I had to go back to college to go back to get that, right, to get that certificate, so I could go contract. But I had so many boys up there, the football, the wife, the kids, the garden, the house, you know. So I decided that after a year in Cove, that I would keep it up, because I basically had to go back to study. So after you asking what I did after I got my HNC, I went contractor in the oil and gas. I was an instrument designer. Yeah, it was really good going contract. I did 15 years, 25 years in the oil and gas, 15 years as a contractor. So almost 10 years as a staff with Wood Group. And I did 25 years. I mean, I was only full time for 19, you know. So it was, after your football career, you've got another lifetime to work, you know. So so that's what I did.
Brilliant.
Did
Reflecting back on your football career,
with the instrument engineering, you had to go offshore and that. So I had to get my offshore certificates and whatnot, and then. And when we were offshore, we were doing sort of surveys for putting new instrumentation into the platform, you know. So that was me. That was 25 years in oil and gas after football.
Super, mate. And like I said, reflecting back on your football career, what are those special moments you look back? Obviously, your time at Aberdeen is just an absolute fairy tale.
Yeah. Well, the games that you win stuff, you know. Thankfully, I've got a lot of games to go back on, you know, because of the Ferguson era, you know. At Chelsea, I played at Wembley against Man City in the full members cup. The full members cup was when England were thrown out of Europe. Remember, after the Heysel, was it Heysel? With the Liverpool and Juventus. I think it was, and for about maybe 3 years, out of Europe for 3 years, so they had to fill that void that was there. So they brought in the full members. So it was a full member. It was the first and second divisions that went into it, and so we ended up playing at Wembley against Man City. And Big Billy was the manager in Man City at the time. So that was quite interesting, you know. Yeah, so we won 5-3, 5-4, 5-4. We won 5-4 at the final. It's good. Obviously, Brighton was. I really enjoyed Brighton, Fulham, Dunfermline. I really enjoyed my time in football. I must admit. So
brilliant, mate. Just to wrap up, we do have a little top 5. This applies to your time at Dunfermline only. So the first one is the most memorable game that you can remember playing in.
For Dunfermline?
Aye, yeah, Dunfermline.
Yeah, but it must be the one at Easter Road. We went down there and we beat them 2-1 after extra time. Obviously, when you score, it's always special, isn't it? You know. So
brilliant, mate. Who was your best mate at the club?
I spent a lot of time as Van Cosmo. Must admit, yeah. And the Ralph he was a nice lad. And there's a boy fade and he was played right, wide right, and I can't remember his name. He was quite funny. So it was.
Ray Sharp.
That's terrible. That. No, it wasn't Ray. It was an Arab boy, a Dundonian boy.
Paul Smith.
Dark hair. Could have been Paul Smith. No, it wasn't Smudger. No, it wasn't Paul. Oh, bugger! What have I done? What have I done? I've knocked you off.
I still hear you.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I can't remember. What we used to call him Jinky.
Ray Farmingham.
Ray. Aye, Jinky used to call. Can we go into his name Jinky?
Aye, Jinky.
Can we go? You can't even get his nickname, Jinky. No, you can't even get his nickname.
No.
It was quite funny. It was quite funny. At least when was wanting to go on the right and take on men and get the ball across. You know, I know that was the Ray's game. That was the Ray Farman's game, was it? Taking on men and getting crosses in. It was just he was a sort of a journeyman the same as me. So we started calling him Jinky. As in Jinky Johnson, you know.
Aye,
But, it was quite funny. Aye, but anyway.
Superb. And who was the best player you played against in that season when you were at Dunfermline?
Best player I played against. Bugger. There was a lot of good players in the team. You know, I can remember them playing against Aberdeen, and the boy Keelhouse scored a hat-trick against me. I was playing second half that day. Yes, beat us 4-1 from Hans Heelhouse. He scored a hat-trick against me.
Yeah.
He was a good player. He was a good player. So it was Hans Heelhouse then.
Brilliant, mate. And what was your favourite stadium you played in that season?
Well, Petors is a nice park, but there's the Ibrox is a nice park, isn't it? I always like going play at Ibrox. I must admit, it was a big stadium, a big crowd, you know. And yeah, Ibrox. Wow, Ibrox.
Brilliant, mate. And the last one, your favourite memory from your time at Dunfermline, that one memory you look back on fondly.
I think the start of the season when the first game of the season against Dundee, and it was a beautiful day, and we were going to East End Park, and everything was everything was in front of us. So we were great expectations, you know. We're going into new club, new players, you know. I think the big crowd as well was a fantastic day that first game. So I always remember that, and going down the stairs to the park, you know. That was good, definitely.
Right, mate. And do you still remember the fans chant whenever you were going to get the ball? They're still going about it today. So the fans used to chant, "Rougvie's going to get you," or they used to say, "Doug."
I'll tell you one thing, I couldn't catch anyone in there. That's for sure.
Doug, honestly, it's been a pleasure catching up with you, and I really appreciate your time discussing your career.
Thank you for listening. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, which is available on all popular platforms such as Apple iTunes, Spotify and Google Podcasts. Thanks to our guest in this episode of Walking Down the Holbeath Road. This podcast was produced by Jan Motkiewicz and music supplied by Stuart Dusty Miller. We look forward to speaking to another former pal in the next episode.